Stranger Things Season 5 is a mess. Hello, ladies, men, and non-binary friends. Welcome back. I have complicated feelings about Stranger Things 5 Act 1, and I wasn't expecting it to be that way. I love Stranger Things. I've loved it for years. I love sci-fi. I love camp. A reminder, to be cringe is to be free. But the discussions of this show online have been very volatile regarding its final season. And some of the critiques I think are totally fair, and some are not. To me, it's reading like people complaining to try and seem intellectual, trying to seem like a smart critic, when they fundamentally don't understand the show or storytelling in general. Going into this show, I kind of expected it to be a little meh, with a couple really good scenes to round out the final season, and sort of end Stranger Things on this lukewarm, inoffensive note. And it's a little more complicated than that. So I'm gonna go through my critiques, the critiques that I've been seeing online that are not valid and don't make sense to me. And then I'm gonna go through the things that I really enjoyed. And then just give a general final thoughts. I wanna be as fair as possible, but I'm also not holding back. There are absolutely a lot of problems in this Act 1 of Season 5. But this isn't gonna be a shitfest for clicks like I've been seeing lately. And while I think Stranger Things 5 Act 1 has some high highs, it also has some really low lows. Let's get into it. Episode 1, The Crawl. Starting out right out of the gate, the retconning of the giant hole in the ground was certainly a fucking choice. The exposition dump by Robin is a complete mess. And I will say this is probably the most entertaining they could have made it, but it was sort of like, let's retcon all the stakes that we set at the end of season 4 so we can build up to the event that was supposed to happen right after season 4. I was talking about this with my partner. I think this probably would have come across a lot better if they had just extended season 4 and made it like maybe 12 episodes, where the 8th episode ends where season 4 ends, and then we just add on 4 more episodes for that final war arc. And we'll see why. There's a lot of things that seem to be really dragged out in these first 4 episodes that I don't think need to be there. Critique number 2. Jonathan continues to be useless and suck as a brother. I don't have enough time to list all of my critiques with the way that Jonathan is written, but I suppose I could sum it up in that Jonathan is very clearly written as the self-insert for the Duffer Brothers. He is this artistic teen who's misunderstood and gets the really hot popular girl. And that's essentially his entire character. In season 1, we're given much more, where he's like terrified for his brother and his mom. He cares about his family, and there's more substance to his character. That is completely abandoned in future seasons. Jonathan does not give a shit about Will in future seasons, and the one thing that kind of redeemed his character and made his character interesting in season 1, despite his weird like pervy shit, is gone, is completely abandoned. And there's no reason why they completely ditched this. I truly cannot tell you a single thing about Jonathan or about Jonathan and Nancy's like relationship, because there's no substance to it. He's a photographer. Okay, that's something that he does. But I can't tell you anything about his personality, like his fears, any substantive addition to the plot that Jonathan offers. It's nothing. It's truly nothing. And I really hoped that they would pull something out for him, give him something to do that is unique to him and his journey. And we have yet to see that. We're halfway through the final season. There's still nothing. Jonathan is still fucking useless. Jumping off of that, the fucking love triangle. I guess we're still fucking doing this. I was watching this with my partner, and in the first second of Steve like looking at Nancy and Nancy like looking over her shoulder at him and Jonathan like scowling, literally within the first second of that happening, he turns to me and he goes, "Are we doing this again?" Which, like, yes, he's right. It is so fucking overplayed and boring and also so immature. Not only have we done this already, but these are people that are like out of high school and they're still behaving like this. Do we have nothing else for Steve and Jonathan and Nancy to fucking do? I have so much frustration with how the Duffer Brothers have written Nancy, and again, we're gonna get into that, but this fucking love triangle is just another example of that, of just like, oh, she's pretty hot girl who's a badass, but we don't give her anything badass to do. Again, we'll get into it. And honestly, I don't think she should be with either of them. She should fucking dump both their asses. I know that the actors are together, but I have never felt like Jonathan and Nancy have had any sort of chemistry on screen. I've said this before, I'll say it again. Jonathan is a self-insert for the Duffer Brothers. Honestly, if they were brave enough to do a throuple, this would save it. But that's not happening. And beyond that, I have no fucking interest in these characters getting together romantically at all. All right, now we're gonna get into Noah Schnapp. Not only is he a fucking Zionist, somehow his acting has gotten so much worse. Like, I truly did not think it was possible. Every scene of his seems to drag on forever. He has no urgency in his line delivery. And I'm not even saying that as like, I don't want to see him on screen, get the line over with. It's like he's purposefully milking his lines because he thinks that that's what dramatic delivery has to sound like. Like, you can be dramatic and deliver your lines with brevity. Like, you can have that urgency and that tension and not have a scene slog on for 3 extra minutes because you're taking a million years to finish your goddamn line every scene. The other thing that pissed me off is the constant flashbacks. Oh my god. We need to constantly remind people that this used to be a better show. It would be different if this was like 2003 with a show on like the CW, where the only way you would be able to watch it would be if you had the DVD or had like recorded it via like TiVo or whatever. Then I could understand the flashbacks to previous seasons. Then I could get it. But the only way that you can watch Stranger Things is on a streaming service where all of the episodes are readily available whenever you want to watch them. We don't need to keep seeing we have access to these scenes. In addition, fandom culture is more active than ever. All the most important scenes from this show are played on repeat in every Stranger Things edit you've ever seen in your life. Not to mention the amount of recap channels that exist on and off the official Netflix channel. And most of the scenes from the show are accessible on YouTube. We know what has happened. We know how we got here. We do not need the constant fucking flashbacks. It is jarring. All right, now we're going to talk about Dustin. This was something I was seeing a lot of critique of online, and we'll get into that when we get into that section, but I actually didn't mind him going into like his little angsty phase and sort of trying to like emulate Eddie. I didn't mind him getting cornered by the fucking 80s bullies getting a knuckle sandwich. I didn't care about any of that. What I don't understand is that before the crawl, nobody went to fucking check on him. Like, this is a friend group that has had their friends, like, go missing. People have fucking died in their friend group. If your friend goes missing in Hawkins, why the fuck didn't you check on him? Like, not one of his friends thought that this, like, something was wrong. They basically established, oh, we were trying to call Dustin, he's not reaching us. We called his mom, we can't find him. Oh, well, I guess we better go on this crawl. Like, you guys are friends. Like, that confused the shit out of me. I know they needed him to, like, be paired up with Steve, but, like, he would have been paired up with Steve anyway. Just have him get beaten up if you wanted that confrontation still, and then have him be in the car with Steve. It was so silly to me. Especially after he got jumped earlier by those bullies. Like, these kids have been bullied their entire lives and have had friends disappeared to the fucking nightmare realm. That seems severely out of character for me that nobody went to check on him. Like, nobody, not one. There's like a team of 12 of you. Not one of you went to check on Dustin. That seems so out of character for me. Mike and Elle as a relationship are flat and boring as always. Moving on. We also don't need masks and PPE of any kind to go into the Upside Down anymore, I guess. The Duffer Brothers are ret connoisseurs. Okay, episode 2, The Vanishing of Holly Wheeler. We're gonna talk about Nancy. Nancy still isn't killing anything. This is my biggest gripe with Nancy's character and how she is written. And once you see it, you are not going to stop seeing it. So I'm sorry if this ruins Nancy for you. Plug your ears. We learn in season 1, early in season 1, that the only one in the main cast, aside from Hopper, that knows how to shoot a gun, to use a gun proficiently, is Nancy Wheeler. She is the only character in the main cast, other than the literal cop, who knows how to shoot a gun well. And we learn this early on in season 1. Nancy Wheeler does not kill anything until season 4 of Stranger Things. She doesn't kill a single fucking thing until season 4. I literally, and also, we see almost every other kid, every other main character in the cast have some moment of glory where they're triumphing over something, beating the shit out of something, killing something, right? We have Steve stepping in, we have Dustin, we have Eddie, we have any number we have Elle, like all of these characters who step up and have their moment where they get to beat the shit out of something and possibly kill it, right? We never get that for Nancy Wheeler, where she's having a moment on her own, because the one time she does kill something is when she's in the Upside Down. It's not a moment where she gets to shine on her own and be brave and showcase her abilities. It's alongside Robin and Steve. This is a point in episode 2 where Nancy has a chance to defend her family, right? From this Demogorgon. And they take that away from her too. And she doesn't fight anything. She shows up and she plays paramedic, where women belong, healers. And I'm so fucking sick of it. And for me, it reads very clearly as just blatant misogyny via the Duffer Brothers and like, oh, pretty girls don't get to destroy things. Like, it pisses me off so fucking much. We are told that Nancy is a badass. But anytime we have an opportunity to actually show it, the Duffer Brothers spit in our fucking face, and that annoys the goddamn shit out of me. Because I love Nancy, and I want to love Nancy more as a character, but they don't give me the opportunity to do that. It sucks. After this really gripping, tense opening scene, we have another scene with the worst actor in this show, more retconning. What was even the point of season 4? Was there any achievement at all with that severed connection bullshit? I guess not. And this is, like I said in the beginning, Noah Schnapp drags out these lines so long, and there's absolutely no emphasis. But because the dialogue is cliche, which again is not inherently a crime, but because the dialogue is cliche and he's delivering it so slowly, you know exactly what he's going to say. You know what's coming, and it's sort of like, okay, we get it, let's move. This is not good, because it's the start of a new episode. It started off with such intensity, and then you get hit in the face by this elephant dart of a scene. Then when Robin comes back in, Jesus Christ, thank God, she brings some fucking life back into it because she's frantic. And I think this helps a little, but it also just gives me fucking whiplash. And in this scene where Will is begging his mom to let him use his powers to save Holly, and she's saying no, I get where this is coming from regarding Will's character. This is not necessarily bad writing. We see in previous episodes how Will wants to help, but is denied by his mother in an effort to protect him. So it makes sense why he's sort of like lashing out. But it is just so unconvincing, and it is played so badly in real time. Like, I am actively seeing Winona Ryder struggle with how to act opposite him because the performance is just so bad. All right, let's talk about Jonathan and Steve in the van. What a weird fucking scene. I don't even know where to start with this. Jonathan, even when he's technically in the right, is insufferable. And everything that Steve said about him is right. I stand by that. Joe Keery continues to save the bad writing of his character with his incredible acting. Some people have all the talent. Yeah. All right, now we're back in the Upside Down. David Harbour is phoning it in this season. I can already tell. We are back on season 3 Hopper, where his only mode is pissed off. I know he can act, and this is not it. Thank God Elle is written as like totally locked in and rational and being like the only adult, because it sort of just seems like Hopper is this like petulant child in these scenes. Episode 3, the Turnbow Trap. All right, very little actually happens in this episode. Murray, played by Brett Gilman, also a raging fucking Zionist. Murray continues to be creepy and insufferable as a character. I've always fucking hated this character. Proud to say that I've never been a Murray fan. I've always found him really annoying and fucking insufferable. The engagement ring reveal. The way that I motherfucking groaned. Why? What do they have in this fucking relationship? Seriously, like, please tell me I'm missing something. If you are like a staunch, like, Jonathan and Nancy shipper, what is the substance of their relationship? What specifically have they given each other in the material? Cite scenes for me, because I genuinely do not fucking get it. I've never got it. I've never understood it. What moments have they had other than existing in the same space together and like being horny? Why should I care? Try to make me care. Also, the whole thing with him and Nancy in like season 1 was him like critiquing her. You're just using me to have like your fun time with the artsy guy, and then you're just gonna settle down and marry someone and have a bunch of kids and live like a normal life. And then like that's what he's gonna try to do with her. Like he wants to get married to her. Like he's a fucking hypocrite. Wow, shocker. I hate this. I hate this so much. I hate this so much. I hate it. I hope either he dies or she says no. And I know that's terrible, but this is just like, I need this to go away. I need this to not clog the plot for me. I'm gonna talk about Noah Schnapp's acting again. Literally ruined the tension post Demogorgon scene. It doesn't matter now, but it just, whatever. Most of this episode I think could be cut completely. I do think that if we just extended season 4 to 12 episodes, I think most of this episode probably could have been cut. Episode 4, Sorcerer. Opening, right off the bat. Why are we doing another plan? Stranger Things is pretty good at these like kinds of scenes, but this is the third or fourth scene like this of these like we're sitting in a room and we're planning something in only 4 episodes. I'm getting heist fatigue. I'm getting scheme fatigue. Hopper, Elle, Jonathan, Nancy, and Dustin are all still missing, and yet we are looking for these random children. I don't know. I love that we're dunking on the military, but why are we rescuing kids when they're in a secure location? I don't know, bro. Don't love that they retconned Acre's death. I thought that like that added some necessary weight to Elle, seeing how dangerous her powers can be when she doesn't control them. Before this, her power was sort of what was limiting her because she was sort of building it up, and as she was getting stronger, like her power was what was actually limiting her. But now that she's been in training and she's so strong, there has to be a point where it like goes too far. And I was kind of hoping that this would be that moment, and it wasn't, because they immediately just like had that guy be knocked out and then be fine. I don't know. Maybe there will be something later where his like mind gets fucked up, or I don't know. That scene I feel like had actual stakes, and I was like, oh shit, like Elle fucking accidentally killed that guy while searching through his mind. Like she doesn't know when to stop. I can't wait to see where this goes. And then there was like, oh, actually, just kidding. He's alive and he's fine. Yeah. This was something that my partner also pointed out. The 7-second mark for the thunder, they did that in the first like scene where she was actually counting it, where Elle was actually counting the numbers. And then immediately after, when they were radioing Dustin, they didn't do the 7-second mark for the thunder. It didn't go off again at 7 seconds. That pissed him off because he was like, listen, he was like, I get if you can't have 7-second thunder in every single scene, because I could see how that could get annoying or hard to like match up, but like in the immediate scene after, you should try to keep that consistent, because that's something that like people are going to be looking for, especially if you're ADHD and like a little autistic, which he is.
Don't put a timer in if you're not going to use it.
Sorry.
It's a missed opportunity.
Yes, I agree.
It's just bad. It's not even lazy ready. It's right there. Just do bop, sound effect, whatever. Red flash. It's not even like a complicated or expensive sound effect. It's just like flash from off screen and.
And you're right, and he's right. I knew he was gonna come into that. Oh my god. Anyway, and then we got the fucking bracelet again from Hopper's dead daughter. We need to continuously remind everybody that Hopper has a dead daughter and not allude to his relationship with Elle as being father-daughter. Like, that doesn't matter. Apparently his dead daughter is still the main focus of his life. I don't know. Hopper and Elle scene here, I thought that was I really loved that scene where like Hopper is like putting in the failsafe to like sacrifice himself. I really love that scene. And then they cut back to his fucking dead daughter, and I got so pissed because this is just this constant reminder of his like dead daughter. I feel like undermines his very real relationship with Elle, and it could have been a moment of just about them and about Elle processing like this possible loss of her father figure. And then they threw that scene in there, and I was just like, okay, whatever. Because then the way that they're framing it then in the narrative is that Hopper isn't doing this for Elle. He hasn't healed from Sarah. I think that scene should have been about his history with Elle and should have been if you're going to put a flashback in there, put in flashbacks to like their relationship. I feel like that would have been so much more effective. That really fucking took me out of it. This is just sort of a general critique, I feel like, in this season, and I have noticed it in previous seasons, but they really lay it on thick this season, and I don't know if it's to pad the runtime or what we're doing, but every 5 seconds we have a character asking, what did you say? Who's that? What's happening? You wanna what? Can you repeat that? What just happened? We have so many fucking questions asked that are immediately answered that like we could just cut out those 3 lines of dialogue and get right to the meat of it if you just cut to someone's confused face and then have someone explain what's happening or whatever. If you want that explanation, which I don't even think you always do need that. So yeah, again, that has existed in previous seasons, and it didn't really bother me as much. It is bothering me right now because it feels like it's like every other scene we have one of these constant questions being asked. And then in the military base, why are we shooting the Demogorgon with guns? I know eventually they use fire, but don't they know that like fire is the only thing that works? Why isn't everyone armed with flame weapons? You know, they know that the guns do nothing. Why are we packed to the gills with guns when flame weapons we know are the only thing that works on these creatures, right? Dragon's breath was invented in the 70s. They could have had really sick scenes of them using a time-specific weapon to fight these battles, which this is a weapon that the military absolutely had at the time. Also, the callback to the sister, pretty disappointing having a callback to the worst episode in the series at the conclusion of the first act of the final season. Ugh, it's certainly a choice. It's certainly a choice for sure. All right, now let's get into the stupid critiques that I've heard. The first one, that the writing is cringe. The writing has always been cringe. It is a sci-fi horror show based on Dungeons and Dragons and 1980s movies and lore. I don't know what you want. It's always been a really cringe show. It just became super popular, and a lot of people enjoyed it and want to seem like they're a fucking intellectual. Newsflash, you can enjoy things that are cringe. It's allowed. You don't need to always consume Oscar bait or fucking dramas or things like Succession. Like, you can enjoy stupid, funny, campy, goofy, like over-the-top cringe things. That's allowed. Be a fucking adult. Like, grow the fuck up. That is the craziest one of like, oh my god, this show is so cringe now. Mama, they're talking about Vecna, a Demogorgon, a Demodog, the Upside Down. Like, we're talking about kids with psychic abilities. Like, this is not some, like, high art type thing. It has always been cringe. Get over yourself and just fucking enjoy that. The next is that the performances are flat. I wouldn't say that they're flat necessarily. I would say across the board, everyone is more solemn and subdued, but this is normal for like a final season. This is the final act. They are locked in. They are not going to be doing as many shenanigans as they have in previous seasons. This is to be expected. It's the same with Mockingjay, with the last like Harry Potter movies, Return of the King. The final installments are typically not the most rewatchable because the stakes are so high and everyone is very serious. This is normal. I would say the performances that are really flat have always been flat. There are just some people in this cast who aren't great actors. It's possible that this is just the first time that you're noticing, but if you go back to previous seasons, I think you'll agree with me. Sort of piggybacking off of that, let's get into what I liked. The actors that continue to carry this fucking show are Joe Keery, Caleb McLaughlin, Gaten Matarazzo, and Millie Bobby Brown. They have always been the most talented actors in the cast, and I would put Winona Ryder in there, but they have done absolutely nothing with her this season and keep putting her in scenes with Noah Schnapp, which is really, I mean, I can see her struggling. Despite the fact that Joyce literally moves the plot in like every other season because she's the only one who has like ridiculously accurate intuition, none of that is used in the final season, which is truly, truly such a waste. All right, episode 1, what I really liked. Dustin's angst arc. I think this makes sense. I kept seeing people online being like, this is cringe, this is cringe. First of all, we're in Stranger Things, okay? It's supposed to be camp, it's supposed to be cringe, all right? The writing for Dustin makes sense. He lost a close friend, someone he looked up to, and he is trying to emulate that person. He is trying to keep that person alive. He wants to honor him, and this is a way that he's like processing his grief in his own way. People can process grief in 1,000 different ways. Anger is one of the most common. If you know any trauma survivor at all, you know that anger can be incredibly common as a trauma response. I really like the scene with Mike and Holly when they're sitting outside the principal's office. This is the first real characterization that we've gotten from Mike since like season 1. I love that we got like a really good, sweet brother moment from Mike. I like him being a decent brother. I'm so used to him and Nancy just like fucking hating each other. I don't know what the fuck took this so long, but it's cute. I think it's a really cute scene. And similarly, in his relationship with Nancy, I'm glad that they don't fucking hate each other anymore. I'm glad that they're like working together. Even they have like some light banter and teasing back and forth. I also really liked when Holly tied the little D&D minifigure that Mike gave her around her necklace. I liked that a lot. I thought that was very, very sweet. Lucas is so good. Caleb McLaughlin in this show is so good. He is so funny. The deadpan snipers chew gum. That was like the first time in this season that actually made me laugh out loud. He is so funny. I cannot wait for him to do something other than this show. I want to see him in more. He is genuinely so good. The earnest, heartfelt moments that he has while he's sitting next to Max, and then the funny moments of delivery, he fucking nails. He is so intuitive and good. I've really enjoyed watching him. Lucas has been like one of my favorite. He has just gotten better every single season. The Vecna Henry reveal as Mr. Whatsit didn't really hit hard for me. Did y'all know from the beginning that Vecna was Mr. Whatsit? Because I thought it was pretty clear from the moment we see Holly talking to someone imaginary. And I think that's fine because the groundwork was at least laid, but it felt like the reveal was very prolonged. Like the length that it took of like her mother like writing the name. I was like, okay, is this supposed to be a big reveal? Because this is taking a really long time when I thought it was kind of obvious. But I don't know. Even if it wasn't obvious for the characters, like we as an audience, I think are supposed to know. So that reveal doesn't need to take that long if it's just for the characters. I don't know. That felt weird. Like we were supposed to be super surprised by that, but maybe we were, and I'm just like super amazing or whatever. So let me know if you knew that going into it. All right, episode 2, what I liked. Karen Wheeler bodying a Demogorgon 2 bottles deep. That is fucking legendary. I love that shit. That was worth the price of admission. And that was the shit we should have seen from Nancy, but I'm not going to mar this. This is what I like. This is one of the things that I like. I don't want to get back into the critiques quite yet. I really, really loved this. That fucking ruled. And I'll give some points to Ted too, but Karen, you stole the show, mama. That fucking ruled, and I liked that a lot. Lucas, during the hospital scene. Mike and Nancy, during a very pivotal and emotional moment. I'm so glad that Caleb McLaughlin was there to save that scene. I'm glad that he was there to pump some emotion into that because... God, Mike and Nancy are just so fucking wooden. I will say Natalia Dyer's acting has gotten better, but I feel like it is still subpar compared to some of these other actors, in my opinion. Autistic Elle lives. Love that. Karen with her wine. No further explanation. Thought that was hilarious. She has another one in one of the later episodes too. I was like, yes. Yes, Autistic Elle lives. Steve and Dustin fighting. I love this. This was another one that got a lot of critique online. This is the first genuinely satisfying scene in this entire episode for me, like character-wise. And it's halfway through the fucking episode. This was getting shit online too. I don't really get it because like if you're familiar with Steve Harrington as a character, he has been a sassy bitch the entire show. This is completely in character. Even when he's on the side of our friends and our cast and getting along with everybody, he's a sassy bitch. This is very in character. I thought people would love this sort of father/angsty son dynamic that Steve and Dustin currently have going, but we've gotten to the point where people are so fucking media illiterate that they are allergic to conflict. And if their perfect little blorbos aren't getting along every second of every day, it's not canon. It's not canon. That's something they would never do. I go to therapy. Bro, do you not realize that stories need conflict to be like stories? Like even in sitcoms where everything's like hunky-dory, there is conflict that creates uncomfortability. This is a conflict that makes sense. Dustin is going through something, and instead of being there for everyone, he has to be there for himself because he's grieving, he's self-sabotaging, he's making bad decisions. This is also a trauma response. Also, the first time I've ever laughed at anything that Jonathan said when he just said Jesus Christ after they were bickering, that genuinely made me laugh. So way to go. First time I've ever laughed at anything Jonathan said. This was a decent scene. 2 flawed characters who we love arguing. Love it. Love the drama. Elle healing Hopper. This was fine. We definitely didn't need to bring up Hopper's dead daughter again. Nancy and Mike going undercover at the hospital. This was cute. I liked this. This was some Scooby-Doo hijinks. It's a limp. It's a regular limp. That fucking made me laugh. That was a good delivery. Hopper and Elle versus the soldiers. I really liked that fight. Hopper is sort of showing more trust in her. This is growth on Hopper's part. It's great to see. And we're showing that Elle has been in training. Like, I think that's great. Episode 3, Holly's little montage. That was super cute. I knew that it was going to turn bad at some point, so it's nice to have this little moment. Her whole little mini adventure by herself, very cute. And the Max reveal, love that my girl is back. Love that my girl is here to save this story. Dustin and Steve this episode, love it. Love the bickering, love the banter. Elle exploring her powers more. This felt more in line with season 1. The suspense and the tension felt real. The Erica scene where she goes with the pie over to the friend's house, that was unreal. That's how you do camp in Stranger Things. That was just so over the top and crazy, and I loved it. I was laughing the whole time. Tagging the Demogorgon, that scene was also very entertaining. Thank God Max is back. Jesus Christ. All right, episode 4, what I liked. The opening. The opening was entertaining. Steve clapping back at Jonathan. You got something to say, Byers? Why don't you just come out and say it? Jonathan rage baiting Steve is rich because what exactly have you done?
What do you do successfully? Quickly.
Again, as I expected, Max is single-handedly saving this show. I loved walking through the memories. I thought this whole scene between Max and Holly was very heartwarming and sweet. The girls have a plan, her love for Lucas and Lucas's love for her, and then the idea of them reuniting is like keeping me watching this show. That's probably why they kept her in a coma. Vecna coming out and blowing up a bunch of shit, that was really cool. This might be a hot take. I love that Will has powers now. Wish it was anyone else acting it, but I really liked all of the direction in that scene. I thought that was actually a really good reveal. Like, it felt satisfying to watch that. Also, calling Will submissive and breedable as a lead up into that, pretty wild. They're really leaning into the pedophile theme for Vecna, huh? Hey, making your big bad a pedophile does make sense. Pedophiles are fucking evil. Hot take, guys. Hot take. Pedophiles, fucking evil. Anyway, I can't believe we're ending on that note. This is gonna sound really, really harsh. I would say about 70% of Stranger Things 5 Act 1 is not important. I really didn't like the first 2 episodes, I will say. There were some moments that were awesome, but as a whole, on the whole, the first 2 episodes were not very strong. And I think that is a testament to them really needing to stretch this out for 8 episodes and not having the actual content to do so. You do have these moments where there are these scenes where it's like, why are they doing this? Like, this seems like a lot of extra steps that don't need to be taken. Forgetting about their friends. Like, we're taking steps into different directions to expand the plot, but we're not doing the natural conclusion that I think should have been reached by these characters given their history. That is incredibly frustrating as a viewer, because the first season in particular of Stranger Things is so tight narratively. Every scene that you have explains something and makes sense for the character, right? And I don't want to be too harsh right off the bat, because it could be that the scenes that we have that maybe don't make sense right now will make sense in hindsight. Sometimes there are shows where you just need to let them cook. I'm doubtful about that, but again, I'm withholding judgment. All of this could possibly make sense later. We won't know until we see it. Yeah, those are basically like my final thoughts. I will come out with another video for Act 2 and Act 3, but I want to know your thoughts too. Things that stuck out to you, things that were weird, and things that you loved. As always, I have Rawan's GoFundMe linked below. She was supposed to attend university this year, but Israel bombed her home and her school out of existence. Season 2 of my D&D campaign, Westerly Academy, is live now. Episode 2 will be coming out on December 7th. And for those that don't know, all the ad revenue from those campaigns goes directly to Palestinian families. So by literally watching D&D, you are helping the people of Palestine. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you want to hear more from me. Please take care of yourselves and each other. Bye. Very special thank you to Bagel's dad, Derek, Anonymous, Tiny Axes, and Robin Fellows.